Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Perfect, thank you. Kind of lost track of time when I was looking at that issue. That's weird. When I look at the map live in any visible like low, medium, or high, there is no grid on it. It's only in the export. I didn't even look at the export. I just assumed the export wouldn't have it because I didn't see it in the preview. Interesting. Huh. We'll take a look. But you exported it without the assets and it doesn't have the lines? Is that what you're saying? We'll look at it. Yes, I did. I downloaded all of them. Because I wanted to do as close of a control as I can. I have a couple ideas, but we'll see. It's just trying to get all the feeds live right now, so one thing at a time here. Okay, I've got TikTok, I've got Steam, I've got Twitch. Hey, Ronimo. How you doing, buddy? My chat bot is up. Hi, man. How are you doing? Broken King, welcome back. I'm gonna set on a multi-message, see if it pings YouTube and Facebook. Facebook and YouTube, so those are live too. Cool, it's working. The only one I'm not sure of is Twitter, and you know, take it or leave it. Anyway, it'll never be X to me. Never. Welcome back to the damn stream, everyone. My name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Today's stream is a showcase of community maps and assets we can find on the workshop. However, starting off with a little bit of community support from a member in our community named Midnight, who's struggling with this map, giving him a weird lighting fixture, and I could already tell what it's from right here. Maybe. Might be something over here. We'll see. We're going to play around with it when he gets in here and see if we can fix. But on his export, there's a grid, and I guess on mine there is too. I didn't even realize it till I looked at it after the fact. One moment. If I can find the image. Okay, got the image. So if you zoom in here, there's this weird grid patterning appearing, but it's only right here. That's the only spot. So I'm trying to figure out why. And it's only in the export. So we're going to try and figure that out for him. And then we're going to look and can confirm 10-4, good buddy. Isn't that what do they say that on? That's on I believe that's on Letterkenny. Anyway, so we're going to try and figure out why this is happening. Notice it kind of starts emanating, or it's here, it's tighter, and then here it gets more spread. I'm wondering if it's something to do with lighting and an object. Let's take a look. It's not in this portion of the map, though, so it's going to be hard to kind of pin down. What I'm going to do is get in first person and take a look around this area of the map and see if there's anything distinguishing that sets it apart. Maybe the height or an object in the vicinity that is giving off that vibe. Like that grid patterning. How was everyone's weekend going so far? I know we're only, just into Friday now. Friday and then just Saturday morning, so probably haven't done much, but if you had a fun weekend so far, let's hear about it. What did you do? Anything interesting? And if you are planning to do anything cool this weekend, let's hear about it as well. I'd love to hear about it. Hey, Chim, welcome back. Welcome back. I like that cool cat you've got with you. It's quite the cool cat. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this area in first person. Let's take a look. I guess way down here. There is this light that bleeds in from here, right? Oh, right, more. That stuff is terrifying, and it's crazy because when I was younger, I used to do that for fun. The fear got put in me, though, after a certain event. But basically, like, I used to spelunk in my teens with my friends, and we kind of got a bit of a bug for it after we went caving with our scout leaders, and then we just drive out in our trucks and like go caving in these like middle of nowhere caves around Utah and southern Utah, and we would be in them for like days. I'm not even joking you. And we'd go exploring and try and go into areas no one would get into because we wanted to challenge ourselves to find new areas. And we'd also follow the paths of previous explorers. But yeah, like one time we got way down into the cave and our flashlights stopped working. All of them. We didn't know why. Pitch black, right? We have nothing. And luckily, one of us remembers he had a glow stick. We were in their cave in the darkness for like 10 minutes before he remembers this. And we thought we were going to just be stuck there until someone came to find us. We used the glow sticks to kind of like figure out that like the glow stick and like look around in our packs, see what we had. We didn't have any other flashlights that were working. It was just weird that one of them went out and then another one. It wasn't even batteries. They just suddenly just all went out within a couple of minutes. So we decided we only have this glow stick light. Let's go up and use it as the best we can and be safe. And we made it up with a glow stick. It was silly. But after that, like caving for me kind of changed. I didn't really want to do it again unless I had tons of supplies, and it's just a different experience. Okay, so I think it has something to do with this light here. For several reasons. There is a portion of the map that is raised over here, right? Here, and it might be casting some sort of cross-reference, like a gridded shadow, a halo, so to speak. Yes, Rev, that's exactly what it is. And I'm not sure why it's happening, or where it's from, because it's hard in this, and because I don't see it till I export. What I'm going to do is export it a different DPI and see if it's still present. Okay? And I'm also going to turn the grid transparency way down. Just try a couple different things. How's everyone doing, though? Man, I am stoked because I get to play D&D tomorrow. Okay, 72, still there. Let me try something else. Nice. This is the one that's the 72 DPI. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and block the light here somehow. By doing something like this. This has an end, like a wall, and I'll put like an iron gate or something. Oh. We're going to try and use this as a way to block out the exterior light. See if that might do it. Actually, that might even add more of a halo. What am I thinking? Okay, let's try and move the light so we can rotate it. So, yes, you see it's kind of making it right here. Let's put the light on the other side. Okay? Let's try exporting it this way and see if it changes anything. I'm going to do File, Save As, and then we're going to change this upper cavern light shift. We'll try this, and then we're going to export it and see if we get a different result. We'll do 150 DPI just for giggles. Game Master Eric, who knows if he'll drop by today? He might. GM Eric is a streamer on this platform here that is the host of my session tomorrow. Some of my homies and I that have haven't hung out in years started playing D&D together recently. Seems a little different now, like it's lighter. It kind of helped, but it's still there. Am I crazy in thinking it looks lighter now? Nope, it's the same. No, slightly different. There's some over here too. Huh. Interesting. Light's getting in there. I don't know what's causing this. I want to try raising the terrain, see if it does anything. Because it's not on this one that's higher. We're going to try everything. So it's Game Master Eric runs a 5e campaign for us, and it's in a homebrew setting, his own world called Toivoa. And we're on an island. It's like a chain of big islands, and we're on one right now called Malaja Rock, which is essentially giants. It's just all giants and giant species, subspecies. There is very little, medium sized people on this island. So it's interesting, but we started in a prison break, which was actually kind of my request. I've never done a prison break in a campaign. It's always been like you start at a tavern or something along those. This right here might be something. Look how thin that is and sharp there. I'm wondering. I'm gonna try something really quick, just for giggles. I'm gonna raise this up. Okay, I'm gonna seal this off. We're gonna get rid of the light on both ends, actually. We're gonna see if that's what's causing it. Oh, that ain't gonna help much. So what we'll do is we'll just put a wall, which should block it. Just a regular wall. We're gonna put a steel wall. I'm trying to see if we can block out this light somehow on export. Block light. Okay. Save. But basically, we broke out of a prison where the guards were like ogres. And after we broke out, our rogue used his kind of thieves' cant and underworld contacts to get us in touch with someone who could put us, put us in a safe house or help us out. And when we were in jail, we kind of all figured out we were wronged by the same person who was kind of essentially got us thrown in jail for, their own nefarious reasons. And so after we broke out, we kind of got it put in touch with someone named Belhiri, who has set us up to kind of do these tasks to help us get revenge on the person who wronged us, who's named Rorik the Black Claw. He runs a gang, and it's kind of hard to get at him, so we kind of have to surgically cut away parts of his gang, kind of GTA style, so once we've taken away parts of his operation, then we'll take him out. Anyway, let's see if the export's any better now. Just gonna see if this solves the problem. Nope. Can't win. That is so weird. I don't even know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna try one more thing here. Terrain itself, we need to play with it. I want to just shift it around a little bit. I'm gonna raise up a bit of it in the center somewhere, like over here, right? We'll flatten that. See if that area has any more light or less. No, that's the thing. It doesn't show when you're live in the view right now. I don't see it in the in this view or the top down. There's no grid. like in this overlay view. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna check it now. Yeah, it's not there. It's so weird. It is just like a graphical glitch of some sort. I don't really understand it. It's frustrating as all. My best guess is because it's such an old map, it might have some wonkiness in it that is causing this. There may be an object that's catching light and making a grid, but it's just so weird that it's only in this one spot. The terrain height might be some of it. Could be one of the assets. It could be any number of things causing it. And it's just so hard to tell without, like, slowly eliminating them in process of elimination, you know? Let's just delete some of this stuff over here, right? See if that changes the outcome at all. Might be the crystal, for sure. Let's check it. I mean, I'm going to check everything. That isn't the one. Still, with all the objects gone, still the problem. There, it is right by the crystal, too. It could be it. Let's check it out. Refraction! That prism. We're going to delete it and just see what happens. You know what? Holy cow. It might have been. It's above the wall. Nope. It is a mystery. Though I will say all of that is at water height. Notice this, right? All of this where it has the issue seems to be water level. Okay, I'm going to try the terrain thing last. This is the best I can do at this point to see if it helps. Also, I'm going to paint the terrain too. Let's just make it this dark, like dirt. I'm going to just try a few different things, right? We might as well just throw some stuff at it. Throw some paint, spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Those are cave areas, so we're good. Now let's raise the terrain a little bit over here. Actually, let's do the raising over here where the grid shows up, right? Crystal here, and I think it showed it up like here. Here somewhere. Also do some of it like right. I'm just trying to, a bunch of different stuff. Sorry if this is somewhat boring. I'm really just trying to help a user in our community troubleshoot why their map is not working. And I would do the same for any one of you if you needed, you know, your any kind of support inquiries or had questions. Well, it's not on the raised area. That almost seems like it solved it somehow. So let's open an earlier version of the map. It might just be at a weird height where it's still detecting the subgrid before it generates. Let's do Upper Caverns, the blank. Hey! Oh, you are here? I thought you had the your other name. Or did you change it? Because I swear I've seen you on the stream under the other name, too. What I'm thinking is it's something to do with the height of the terrain and some sort of refraction or light. I don't know where it's coming from. Dude, I tried blocking off the sides. I have tried, blocking off both sides. I've tried doing, checking to see if it's an object. So my next thing is the height of the terrain is what I'm thinking it is. So what I'm going to do is go in and just raise it ever so slightly, right? Like that much, right? And then we'll flatten that out. You might have to put in some of your objects here again. But we're essentially just going to raise up this portion of the cave. And like I said, this is really just a test to see if this fixes this. I don't know if it will. But all I can see, one consistency from the lines that seems to be a constant, is it all seems to be at water height wherever it's happening, you know? Let's try this and see if, I'm gonna just bring it through here with all these, Oops, I'm on lower, no wonder. Trying to do flatten. If you start at one place and you raise it up and then just flatten it all across, it'll do it all. Okay, so let's just see if this does anything. If this works, I'm gonna be so happy. Okay, moment of truth. Not the one. Oh, it was Upper Caverns that I just exported, right? Yes! That fixes it! I knew it. It was, see, you could still see it here where I didn't raise it. It has something to do with the height of the terrain. For some reason, I feel like there's a bedrock in DA somewhere, like, based on the height you set it sometimes for the map. Like, when you... Okay, when you set up your map, right, and you don't know what it is now, right, but when you set it up, you likely set your, water level as your room placement, right? And I don't know if at some point I don't know, whatever it is, there's a glitch in there, and it could be some weird graphical carryover from the old, version you built this into the new version. But whatever I did, raising the terrain got rid of that in those areas. So if it were me in your shoes, I would just raise it up a little bit using the raise tool, have it really low, really small. Once you've raised it up just the littlest bit, switch it to the flatten tool and then flatten out the whole area. And then do it all through that area, pretty much up to the water's edge as much as you can, and maybe make like a sloped exit like I did here, or a slope entrance where you climb out of it, and then just find all the spots where it's at and do the same thing. So wherever the water and the ground are roughly the same height, it seems to be happening. And I'm sure there's an object in here causing it, but I don't know what. Honestly, if this was like, if you could access the latest build, it'd be cool because you can just turn down the light in the map, right? Like, oh man, you have it really bright. That also could have been it. Who knows? But you would be able to add abstract lights throughout the cave to add some cool, like, oh, a green in this area, stuff like that. Gotcha. It was up all the way. That might have been the culprit that made it appear in the first place. Like some sort of halo gradient thing when it's at the absolute max. But I don't know what was causing it for sure. Though I do know raising the terrain in that area seems to have fixed it. So I'm glad we sorted it. Sorry, my friend, that you're having this problem. Oops. Best of luck, though. Hopefully that sorts you out. Oh, phone just fell out of my pocket. I had to make a dad sound to pick it up. Well, Midnight, I hope that helps you out. That was so funny, man. I was just trial and error, process of elimination. I love little puzzles like that, though, because it's always so, like, random. We're like, okay, it has to be the light. It has to be an object. And we still couldn't figure out what. It definitely some weird combination of things, but raising the terrain made whatever the graphical glitch was disappear. So I'm glad that solves it. This is pretty cool. So it's called the Wandering Hotel. I found this on the workshop today, and I imagine it is like a... Well, I mean, you teleport to get to the hotel, and there's like all these teleportation like entrances here, like to different realms. So I imagine the hotel itself is either on the move constantly through some sort of magic, or it's in some sort of plane where you have to teleport to it. But it'd be cool if it was like a an Immortal Engine type thing, like a big, huge city, like on a big like platform moving around. Like Howl's Moving Castle or something. Anyway, I saw this on the workshop. I thought it'd be very, very cool to share with y'all. But I got so distracted with Coffee's troubleshooting issue there that I basically spent the first 30 minutes of the stream. That was quite a brain buster. I'm glad we got it sorted, though. So very, very happy that we got that sorted for you. And that's kind of the point of these streams, is we figure out trial and error and, you know, deduce what might be causing that issue. There is definitely a bug there, for sure. I'll send it to the devs and ask them what's going on. But they're so busy with the development work on our next update that, like, patching stuff is kind of secondary at the moment until they finish this release and get it out. The fact that it always, you know, came out in the export means it was probably there, but we just couldn't see it in the live view for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. This is a really cool build. Would you stay at a Wandering Hotel? To be honest with you, I think like tip videos and tutorial videos are great. But then they're only as good as long as, like, that update's live, because things change constantly. And then on top of that, like, I don't know. I like a personal touch. I prefer helping y'all hands-on instead of, like, just referring you to a wiki entry or a 2-year-old video. I prefer just to explain it, you know, and, like, help you out. I don't know. I think that's a lost art in this day and age. Like, a lot of businesses, they're like, please refer to this QR code and download our manual and, you know, talk to this AI and whatever. I don't know. I prefer the hands-on personal touch, you know? Guess I'm old school. Call me a boomer or grandpa or whatever. Zillennial. That's the hill I will die on. Good customer service will never get old. It'll never get out of style. It will, I don't know. You know, can't beat it, really. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating when I call a place and you can't even talk to a human anymore. I don't know. Like, there are some things that, like, a simple video or an article can walk them through it, a little guide, definitely. But also, like, that instance we were just dealing with, there's no way a guide could have figured that out. It was, like, so many different things I troubleshooted. Like, I'd have to make, like, a 10-step guide just for this very specific issue. And, like, at the end of the day, it just seems, I don't know, I just like that I could just dive into it with him. I do enjoy that freedom of my job, you know? Oh, man, this dining room's swanky. So, tomorrow, I get to play as my character, who is, his name is Clover Brightleaf. He is a halfling. Artificer, wizard, multi-class. It's currently 3 levels wizard. Started in Artificer. Mainly started in Artificer for the prep spell list and also essentially specific saves, you know? So I have intelligence and constitution proficiencies instead of, you know, wisdom and intelligence. I also have armor and medium armor, shields, bunch of weapon proficiencies and tool proficiencies that it's afforded to me because of Artificer. And then I just dipped into Wizard after that. Yeah, I like this map a lot. But that character, I'm very excited to jump into it because I only get to play it once a month. Let's walk around in first person and see what this place looks like. Token. Disciple of Yawgmoth. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? But yeah, the check-in here is nice. Holy cow. Upstairs. Probably an upper and a lower, like, accompanying levels for this. Can't wait for the next update, because then when you just go upstairs, it'll be at the next level. That's, of course, for your in-game, you know, videos and screenshots and whatnot when you're walking around in first person or using the cinematic camera. Otherwise, your exports to your virtual tabletop of choice, each floor will act as a separate map, i.e. JPEG or video file when you export. So, floor 1 is exported as its own floor with its own JSON file or XML file, etc. Nice, nice. Are they up on the workshop, Disciple? Hey, Dyson. I've really been enjoying the images you've been sharing lately over on Blue Sky, your series of city maps or whatever. Very cool. Keep it up. There's like a subset of our community refusing to do certain maps, and that makes sense. You know, you want to wait until it's just easier or more straightforward on yourself, right? There's also a subset of people in our community who just are not making maps altogether. I would not encourage anyone to put their campaign on hold while you wait for our update, because what if we have to delay for a few more months or something? Like, any number of things could happen, and you don't want to bank on an update. So I think a lot of people are avoiding multi-level structures now because, you know, by hand it takes a lot more time, and then there's also not as much like direct export support for all the various levels, right? So you either have to build it carefully like I built my wizard tower months ago, or so with like very specific purpose and points to the map. So each level you can pull apart, delete, and then export. Or, you know, you kind of are SOL at the extra levels later. Does that make sense? This is my favorite room, actually. Should have taken a picture of this. Being careful, using order of operations. No. Why would Max suggest that? That's silly. Okay, let me show you what I mean, though. Oops, I gotta open one of my maps. So I have this wizard tower that I built on stream on Map Maker Mondays. And it is a multi-level structure built in the current build that anyone, has access to. Meaning any of you can do this. Well, Disciple, honestly, I wouldn't discourage yourself from sharing maps on the workshop just based on, how they look or whatever. I think personally, it enriches our community as a whole when maps are shared there, because you never know who might get use out of it or might learn something from it or be inspired from it or use it as a framework for a larger or different map. But that being said, I understand if you're a little worried about sharing your work or nervous, though I would encourage you to do so. In fact, anyone here, please share your maps by all means, especially if you have a map your players enjoyed and you recall they enjoyed it. I appreciate that, Jim. Yeah, I do like when building it takes a little bit of by hand work. I'm definitely going to miss the old days when multi-level was kind of a skill and an art, but to be honest with you, I am very excited for our community to take advantage of it. So I made sure collisions was off in this build, right? This roof here is actually a custom 3D asset that Mrs. Mac built for me, and it's on the workshop. Anyone can download it. It's named Observatory Roof, but it's got like that kind of broken shingle, it kind of reminded me of Merlin's Tower, like from the old, Sword in the Stone Disney film. And what I did when I built this is I made sure every floor was kind of all stacked on the floor, meaning everything in that room is stacked on the floor, so I could pull it as one piece and kind of move it. So, that floor can be moved, and that floor can be moved, and that floor can be moved. Alternatively, they can also be deleted and removed from the map, and I can do a save as floor 1, save as floor 2, save as floor 3, floor 4, and just the roof. Have an export of all of them as separate maps. So at the end of the day, I kind of made a point to make sure that every part of this structure was built on a single piece that could be pulled apart really easily. How I accomplished that was a couple of different assets. We have some stock assets that'll work for this. There's structural. If you go to here, let me turn on my mouse highlighter. You've got this chest here, which is objects. Then you've got structural, and then round constructions. For my first floor, I used a round platform. Put that down, and then the walls are essentially just this right here. I put one in, rotated it, and I'm holding shift as I place them, so they automatically duplicate. And that is floor 1 for all intents and purposes. I decorated everything on it, and then I made sure that it was in a snapping point. I held control when I moved it, so it snapped into place. So this particular, all of those are in a snapping point. So that was floor 1. But yeah, if you look at this, oops, we've got, let's grab that. Yeah. Move it over here, move this over here, move this over here, move this over here. That is that stone floor. These round kind of stairs, spiral stairs, wooden floors with holes in them, these were actually provided by a community member named Swedish Cook, who made them from scratch and shared them with me while I was building this map. He was like, hey, these will work perfect for this. We kind of coordinated on it. But if you open up the Steam Workshop tab from the top menu of your Dungeon Alchemist and go to Browse Assets and then Browse Collections, when you're in Collections, there's tons of pre-configured groupings of assets that collectors have put together that make sense that they're all together. And in here, there is a collection with round, tower building, I think is what it is. I'm going to search tower. Yep, tower building assets. So this here, you can download this whole pack, or you can download individual parts of it. So there's these wooden floors with a hatch, a side area for a rounded kind of curved stair, a central for a spined stair, you know what I mean? And then he even included banisters to fit, and stairs to fit, and these are completely navigable in first person. So I took advantage of there being an asset on the workshop that worked with this. Let me place a token inside, and I'll show you what it's like. Got one right here, I forgot. Uh-oh. Oh, I think it just froze a little bit. Second. Change my angle of attack here. So here you have the observatory level, which there's a wire inside that runs out to a wire outside that goes to the weather vane on the top. So that's kind of a neat little feature. You can capture, lightning and then convert it into these arcane batteries to store the energy for later, or when he wants to flip on the switch and power the various arcane engines and whatever, the mechanisms to turn and adjust the telescope. Then here you have a hatch to go down to the bedroom and bathroom area. So there's a bath, a laundry basket, a sink kind of reservoir there. Bed. Here's Seymour, my puppy. We've got some, gear, cloak, backpack, scythe, whatever. Some dressers and other magical gear, some loot. And go down the next stair. Here we have the study / library and kind of like alchemy workshop. Bottom level is the hearth, entry, kitchen, kind of food storage, prep area, eat, whatever. And then there's also a hatch that goes to a secret escape tunnel. And this here is the immersive door with the gate on the inside, because when these round walls were used, you can't add a door to them. The round walls that you can make like the bottom floor of now definitely can. So when I started this building, you couldn't. And then I just put like a little 2x2 building on the outside and put a door on it to make it seem like there was like an entry. And then if you open that, there's like a door there. So it even looks like a door from the workshop. So it looks like there's a door. Anyway, very realistic at the exterior. Oh, I'm very eager for our community to get access to multi-level. I'm not regretting it at all. I'm very excited. And also I'm excited to put a pin in, the old school multi-level. This is how you do it, with all these like jumping through all these hoops and workarounds, As fun as it is to be able to do it in the current state in Dungeon Alchemist, I'm definitely excited to move on from that chapter. The new era of Dungeon Alchemist is going to be crazy. The maps y'all be able to make is going to be insane. I've actually been considering, just as we get into, this update, making a multi-level map to kind of share with the community. And I've been considering making the Yawning Portal, which there's tons of Yawning Portals up on the workshop, but a true new multi-level Yawning Portal would be insane. I don't know. What would y'all feel? Would it be kind of fun to have a Yawning Portal multi-level map at launch? I've also been considering making like a big kind of maybe like a big, I don't know, like an estate, like a mansion, because we have mansion as like a room type, but it'd be so cool to have like all the different levels, up to like a roof and like different parts of an estate. I'm open to like whatever, though. I'm kind of toying around with ideas to build. It's just kind of hard to build it right now in my build my alpha beta build. A mansion and a castle, like an actual keep, with like, you can do the cool exterior walls using these like structural platforms and whatever, but like a multi-level like towers and adjoining like castle structure. Take it to a whole nother level. Anyway, very excited. Part of me wants to just load up my my dev build and just toy around with it in front of you until it crashes. But I also, you know, probably shouldn't for reasons. Hey, Cyberpunk map, let's check it out. So tomorrow in our session, we're going after a underling boss of this crime lord we're trying to get revenge on, who wronged us and got us all imprisoned. So his name is Torvas the Chain, and he's a half ogre who kind of is like his boss that runs the docks for him. So I don't know what we're going to do. There's consideration of capturing him and taking him back to our safe house where we can interrogate him with Zone of Truth. But we're also in a city full of giants, and I just don't know how well it'll go over if a bunch of medium-sized creatures captured a half-ogre in a city of giants, manacled him, and then dragged him through the streets to our base. Oh my. This is going to take a minute. I guess while we're waiting for these downloads, I'm going to pull up a teaser from our next update, okay? In fact, I'll pull up several. Yeah, it's going to be crazy what our community can do once the new update comes out, because, I mean, you'll be able to do full cityscapes, you know, as long as you have a powerful enough computer to manage the underground areas. I mean, you'll be able to do like above ground full cities, you know, and then match the sewers and like catacombs and stuff underneath. And then, you know, have multi-level structures in the city going upward. So like you could have, you know, like 2-level homes and like in the city, and like, oh, you could have an tavern inn with like the tavern on the bottom floor and an inn above. You could have, you know, the kind of like structures where like, oh, the cobbler lives in the home above his house, you know, kind of like whatever. So you would have like all of these things tied together. Additionally, it's going to be very cool to have structures with like cellars or secret underground, you know, areas like we're seeing in this video. It's going to be quite epic. One thing that's coming in this next update that is kind of like a little kind of like we're just cramming in this alpha beta tool in the next update. It's kind of fun. You see it just in the background of this and you don't even realize it. It's this ship. There's going to be like a very basic kind of ship builder in the next update, more than likely. And it's going to be the first iteration, in my mind, the first iteration of the shipyard, which will be coming in the High Seas update at some point later down the road. But we're adding a new tool in the next update called the Modular Objects tool. And Modular Objects is essentially a fancy term for allowing you to quickly link objects together to build kind of new groupings and modular objects. So essentially, what it entails is, for instance, like the railing in Dungeon Alchemist, right? Oop, that was the wrong clip. So like the railing in Dungeon Alchemist, you can quickly link it all together now using the modular object tool, right? So it allows you to build out rail systems or pipe systems very effectively. And we were thinking, how else can we utilize this, right? Like more effectively. And one other suggestion was like a first iteration of the ship builder. So people could kind of play around with it, snap building, so to speak. I believe so, yes. Geronimo, yes. Now, back to this clip, you can see this ship, and it's so wonky. It looks like something out of, like, One Piece or something, right? Because the ship makes no logical sense. But anyway, the lights you see in this clip are also equally important. These are called abstract lights. And the abstract lights will allow you to essentially add light sources to your map that are cast as either a spotlight or a lantern, and these lamps are invisible upon export. So you can make them invisible while you're building, but the light source it casts is still very present in the export or while you're building. One thing I've seen in the background right now, for instance, is one of our new lead devs, Pieter is his name. Sorry, I've only met him once. He has been working on optimizing the load time of Dungeon Alchemist to speed it up. There's a lot of optimization coming in this update. And because we're depreciating thousands of objects from the object menu and reorganizing the object menu, and essentially because there was tons of pillars that got updated, tons of door frames, tons of walls, tons of almost anything that is affected by multi-level directly either got junked or remade. So they're more optimized and essentially it's going to run very fluid. Now, keep in mind though, building at scale has always been a problem with Dungeon Alchemist because you start building a massive, cityscape, you will require a more powerful computer to do so still. I will imagine, though, with time, the AI generation and the overall scale of maps you can generate will become, more optimized, because one thing we haven't unlocked yet is multi-core. Currently, all map making you do in Dungeon Alchemist is done with one core. So you essentially, even if you have multiple cores, it gets access to your RAM, it gets access to your GPU, but it only gets access to one core of your CPU. Taveron, right now it's 5 up, 5 down. I don't know if you only go up if that means 10. I think it just is 5 up, 5 down. But that also can be construed so many different ways, because what if you start building on a hill way higher in the map somewhere, right? And then there's a lower portion of the map. I don't know. It's weird. And there's still a lot of it that hasn't been finished. So it's hard to fully extrapolate on how it will work when it's not even finalized, right? And referring to, will you be able to export all your levels at the same time? Yeah, there's a batch exporting tool being added in the next update that essentially will solve, all the levels exporting in a single batch, and also several settings that you can customize. So, in the next update, you'll be able to essentially, let's say you use Roll20, right? Maybe for every map you create, you export multiple versions. At least the average DM in our community exports, several versions of each map. Like a night, a day, a grid, a gridless. Sometimes people will export a winter version if they're planning on having their players come back there later. So they'll turn on the snow weather. So, Rev does 11 plus. I know one person in our community that does 90 plus versions of a map when they export it, because they have a Patreon. And their Patreon members want, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Above VTT, Foundry, and then they want, 72 DPI. Some of them want 150 DPI. Some want with a grid. Some want without a grid. Some people want animated. Some people want, still. So there's lots of different things, but you can pick and choose all these things. This is just my naming convention for it, so I could see it and know what's in it. But anything you pick in the export menu, you can save it, and then there's a drop down that you can pick from, right? So you can essentially, once you save them, the first one you save, there's one, there's another, there's another. So when you add all these different variations of your export, when you hit export, it'll export them one after another, after another, after another in order. So you could set it and forget it. Maybe before you go to bed at night, just set it and leave it, and then you'll come back and they'll all be exported. I'm great, Stormy. How you doing? So this is a new quality of life feature added in the next update that will speed up and increase your overall export versatility. So you can still export just a single version of the map, but the batch export will be the way to go, especially if you're doing multi-level, or if you even export 3 versions of every map you make batches for each one, day, night, afternoon, evening, grid, gridless, animated, non-animated, and then you could just export them all at once, and you've got them in a single folder and you're done. It's going to be very, very nice to have this new quality of life improvement. Honestly, though, I need y'all to know like how much I insisted upon this feature, because when I said when multi-level is coming, we will need this. We will absolutely need it, and there will be, while we're making it, we should make it with a bunch of different things so you can really fine-tune how you export your maps. And this is, you know, more designed to be a power feature, but at the same time, it will help every DM. Oh, I'm so sorry, Stormy. Hey, Hieronymo. Hey, Highland Lass. How are you? Yeah, honestly, like I took feedback from, you know, people like yourself over the years telling me all the stuff you export, and SAC, and, you know, different, you know, creators in our community who do a lot of prolific map making, and I made sure that that feedback was part of this. Trundling along. That's an interesting word. I want to add that to my vocabulary. Trundle. Oh my gosh, I'm like almost halfway with this map. I feel like it's stopped. Yeah, it's stopped. Look. Oh, it just did one. Steam is like going so slow. I mean, we are getting really close to our update, and it's kind of at the point the devs are happy with where things are at, and they're just testing and fine-tuning things. But there was a bit of community feedback a couple months ago that I gave them that I feel kind of delayed things, but it was good. It was for the better. So, y'all saw a couple months ago when we started releasing footage about roofing, right? How it was mostly just like flat in like all the images and footage. And it had this like kind of wall thing going on, like this little crenulation. Sometimes that's great, like on a castle, that makes sense. But like on a wood building, it's kind of weird. So there was a lot of feedback coming from our community, worried both that A, there was more focus on multi-level and not enough focus on objects, and B, that they were worried that the roofs would only be flat, right? And that's a valid concern. I think that concern really resonated with the devs, right? And then they started making headway towards making angled roofing. So like our lead dev Carl developed a brand new custom algorithm to generate what is like sensical angled shingled roofing, and it's called a straight skeleton algorithm, and I guess only like a handful of people in the world know how to program them effectively. When he was explaining it to me, it went way over my head, but apparently he made a very custom one for our roofing. Now this is alpha beta, you know, clips, or I mean like images, so it's a little wonky here. You can see like it's missing some stuff, but it is coming along quite nice, and it's even better now. There's way better images now. Wim has been, and our art team has been configuring new roof types. There's some slate shingles, there is some thatch roofing, there is several shingle types. Conan Exiles team, man, they do some good work too, though. Over the years, they have seriously made some crazy changes to that game. I commend their work and their commitment to it. Man, Funcom, isn't that who makes it, right? They made another Conan game, and I love that they continued the licensing to make Exiles, but they made a game years ago. What was it? It was another Conan game, but it was like an MMORPG. I can't remember what it was called, but it was actually so fun. I don't know what it was, but I loved exploring it for hours and hours. This is a fun new addition, too, to the modular object thing. Just like piping and pneumatics and stuff like that. Like you can make all these little Wonka-esque, you know, like inventions, you know? Flagstone roofing. I don't know if they have that, but you may want to mention it to Wim. it just in passing. I can bring it up though. I can add it to my notes. Hold on. Island glass. It is 412. 5. You want flagstone roofing. This might have to wait for a future update because I think they're putting the finishing touches on all the roofing types. Flagstone. I will say this, though. There is a lot of different roofing options, both angled and flat. That'll be very cool. But yeah, basically, we had a meeting a couple of months ago, and I was like, I think they're going to want angled roofing. Like, it's such a big part of this update. You're going to say we have roofing and multi-level, but, like, first and foremost, like, roofing was kind of hard to find. It's kind of buried, like, 3 steps deep in the menu. It's in this menu. You open the floor menu. Then you go over here to the edit room menu, and then there's like a sub menu within that for roofing. That's like the temporary spot for it, but it'll have its own spot, kind of like flooring, walls. It makes sense for roofing to have its own, like either in the floor category or in its own. But anyway, little things like this is based on community feedback and insight and testing, and you know what I mean? Honestly, Stormy, you're correct. I am under the impression that our lead developer, Carl, is in some sort of pact with like a techno demon. And like there's all these jokes that like demonic ritual symbols look very eerily similar to like code and or like circuitry. So it's just funny. We joke about it a lot, saying that he has a patron that teaches him how to expand the Dungeon Alchemist code in like in his sleep, because it's funny, like I'll tell him an idea one day from the community or a pitch, and he's like, I don't know if that's possible, I don't think we can do that. And then like 2 days later he's like, hey, I patched that into the build, you now have it. I'm like, what? You told me last time we spoke it's not possible. What was the I heard some like silly thing on TikTok the other day that was saying Bill Cipher in that what is it, Gravity Falls show is actually an attempt by modern media to bring a demon into the real world, and I was just laughing really hard. So in this clip here, you see here it's a new tool added in the next update called the decal tool. This tool is actually very impressive in a lot of ways because it allows you to add these stamps to your environment, your map. You can add them to the ground, the floor, the wall, objects, and then they add a personalized touch to the environment. So this was like a hovel, decrepit, falling apart before, but it had a lot of like repeating floor pattern. You kind of can break up the monotony with these cracks and scratches and tally marks and extra webs and stuff. Really gives you a lot of versatility over your individual rooms and environment. There's things like leaves, moss, dirt, rust, stone paths, footprints, tally marks, cracks, pock marks from explosions. There's also rumors that there will either at launch or eventually be an option for you to make your own custom stamps and import them into Dungeon Alchemist, and even possibly share them on the workshop where, others can benefit from them. Hey, Zach, how you doing, buddy? Called your name earlier, and actually, I think you heard it. Was your nose itching? We showed a little clip on abstract lights. I want to show another more recent one that I shared the other day on our social media and stuff, but you may have missed it if you don't tune into our social media. This here is essentially a demo demonstrating how abstract lighting is very, very, very effective at adding light to an environment, but then it's not present in the export, the light housing. So essentially in this clip, you can kind of see here how the map starts. It's dark, right? And then I just kept this clip. I recorded at the same exact spot every time. In fact, all I did was change the light and then start recording again. So in this instance, I recorded this. Well, technically, I decorated all the lighting and then I removed it and then recorded and then added it back. And anyway, a couple of steps. But the point of the matter is with these wipes, you could see where the light housings are and the light they shed after is still present. And it's really going to be a very valuable tool to supplement the environmental lighting of your builds, or to make it feel much more vibrant and alive or inviting and warm. Also, you could use this lighting not just in this generic orange lighting, but different colors so you can bring attention to different things. I'm good. I'm good, Zach. I appreciate it. I have been super busy this last week with various, work-related things and home tasks. I found out my grandpa, who is like 80, has COVID right now, and I'm really worried about him. So other than that, I've just been chugging along. No, you'll still be able to access your older maps and reference them, but in older maps, you won't be able to. So if you open up an old map from the workshop or an old DAM file from your library, you won't be able to build multi-level on old maps when the update launches, Random Ladybird. So they will be different in their own regard, if that makes any sense. Essentially, your older maps will no longer... your older maps, you'll be able to open them, export them, edit them, but you will not be able to do multi-level with the multi-level new up-down tool over here. It'll be locked. Yeah, me too. I'm a little worried about him. I was actually planning to go visit him this month, just prior to Easter, to spend some time with him, because he's getting up there in age. I like to visit him and, go say hello and hang out and chat with him and hear his stories and just hang out with him, because it's like, I don't know how much longer he'll be around. And he's like one of the closest living relatives nearby me. He actually lives in the same state. So, anyway, which is still quite a far drive from, Vegas to Reno, but it's still within the same state. It's like a 6-7 hour drive. That's crazy, right? Long story short, I've actually been putting together a little care package for him. It's like, he told me, we talk on the phone every now and then or text, and he loves golfing, but his hips hurt him so much now that he can't go anymore, and it's really bumming him out, right? And I have an old Xbox One that I was using forever when I used to stream a lot, and then I don't use it anymore. It's been sitting in my living room collecting dust. And I started looking into games that are golfing and fishing and things he's kind of interested in but can't do as much anymore. Poker, stuff like that. And I got him a couple of golf games. I got him a mechanic simulator game because he loved restoring his hot rod when he was younger. Stuff like that. And I'm hoping these things will allow him to kind of at least keep his mind active and have these activities to a degree. But it's, not quite the same, obviously, and I understand that. But it's... Hey, Polaris, how are you? I'm really hoping he embraces it, and tries it. I know gaming isn't necessarily his forte, so I'm a little worried. Anyway. But I've, got this old... Oh, the map finally loaded. Yes! I've got this old Xbox One that I cleaned out, I formatted, refreshed, updated, and then I'm setting him up I'm logged in on my own account right now while I set it up, but eventually I'm going to set him up like a new email and Xbox account that's just for gaming, that's separate from his personal email, so he doesn't need to worry, and I'll have it written down and backed up so I can access it if needs be. But the point is to give him some kind of semblance of normalcy when he's at home. But then he got hit by COVID, so it's honestly, I was hoping to go see him, but I can't now. because my wife is so fragile. She's immunocompromised, and so it's basically I can't go visit him and risk getting COVID or asymptomatically bringing it back. It's awful. It's like I want to go make sure he's okay, but I can't, you know? Anyway, here's a clip showing multi-level and how easy it is to transition between the spaces. There is two ways to do so. You can use the plus or minus key or the up and down arrow on this new interface that'll appear. By the way, when we were talking earlier, Random Ladybird, if you open an old map, that interface will be locked. It'll have a lock symbol on it. So it'll be there, but it'll be locked. But basically, if you want to add another level, you just press the up arrow or the plus key, and then you can start drawing in rooms. It will look essentially like this when you add a new floor, this kind of flat, just wood roof kind of thing. And then you can go in the room tool and draw in individual rooms or a hallway or whatever, a whole room there. This could be a patio if you wanted it to be. It can be any number of things. But leaving it flat like this is a rooftop option. Alternatively, an angled roof. When the roofing menu is added, it'll be very easy to transition between those. So I'm really hoping my grandpa will cave into gaming, but I'm getting him like a bunch of little things that I know he likes. He was into those like the old school Pink Panther movies, and I'm getting him just like my wife's putting together like a bunch of baked treats, and then we're gonna do a new family photo before I go visit him, and so I'm just gonna take it all up and give him like this big bundle of stuff and hang out with him for a few days, and hopefully get him into gaming while I'm there. But my hope is by the time I leave, he's like enjoying golfing again, and like to a degree, you know? I do think gaming is a great way to, like keep your mind active. I think there's a lot of, negative perception around gaming and gamers in general, but gaming can really help people. It really can. Especially those with disabilities. Like there's an entire like subdivision of Microsoft that's in like catering to offering gaming to those with disabilities, which I think is really wholesome. Like Microsoft usually isn't wholesome at all, so the fact that they are to a degree in this instance is pretty great. Have you all heard of the adaptive controller, the Microsoft adaptive controller? It's like kind of a big white thing. It's got big buttons on it. Oh man, this is so cool. I love me a good cyberpunk, or even like this could be an apocalypse map because it's got like this here. Oh man, Milo, see, I totally get that. I'm so sorry too. I'm so sorry. Like here at DA, I'm always trying to make sure the devs understand accessibility. Like there's different options over the years. It's like I kind of wish there was like this was up down. You could use an up down to go through this instead of like having to hold it or like click on it and do things. And I also, sometimes wish there was hotkey access to a lot of these things, or you could jump between areas. That way it's a little bit easier to navigate. But I do think once we leave early access, accessibility will be a little bit easier to obtain because it's not in such a constant state of flux and development. That's a good question. Who made this map? Just downloaded it. Dexter is the creator. In Dexter's laboratory. Anyway, so this map here is actually quite good considering it's got that futuristic, semi-modern or post-apocalyptic or cyberpunk vibe. Are any of you running any cyberpunk campaigns right now? I mean, this could work for a Walking Dead or Apocalypse campaign. Like a rundown old building, but then these bikes really give it the aesthetic of like a gang has taken this place over and it's their base now. Dang. Some really intense verticality in here. Riot Girl, that would be cool, huh? To scale the menu without going into settings like this. I agree. Like maybe if you held a hotkey and scaled, it would do it. That'd be really cool. Like if you held Control Shift and rolled your mouse, it would scale. I agree. Stuff like that, accessibility is really important. Also, multi-language support would make us more accessible too. I definitely agree, because like I am always pointing out to the devs, like not everyone in our community may have access to both of their hands or the full use of their hands, or they maybe making maps differently than other people. I actually spent a couple of years in a bed dealing with like horrible sciatica. I recovered from it. I'm a lot better off now, but I spent most of that time like navigating my life through a VR headset, because I was able to get on the internet through my computer in my office in the other room remotely. I could play games, I could work, I could stream. It was crazy what I was able to do just from my bed through a VR headset. I kind of think that's the future, actually, to a degree. Would be great for a monster of the week. What do you mean by that, Jim? I love this, though. It's all ran down. Wally. Who's participating in the upcoming Dam Challenge? By the way, the upcoming Dam Challenge is Legend, if you haven't heard yet. So if you're interested in participating in our bi-weekly map-making contest, for a chance to, flex your map-making muscle against the rest of our community and potentially win a prize, a $10 Hero Forge gift card, and have your map promptly featured in our weekly newsletter and as the first map on our Dam Challenge stream. So essentially, why not participate, right? You have an idea for it for Legend? So yeah, the theme right now is Legend. You use it. Legend is inspiration. All of your maps are legendary, for sure. Legendary. Honestly, I just, we got to come up with a theme. Maybe it can be more legend than normal. A legend is a tale that, transcends time, right? The tale becomes so commonplace, but also retold through a game of telephone over time that it ends up becoming far beyond what it was, right? I do think a lot of like modern representations of things in the past, like monsters and things like, I don't want to get into it fully, but are... What's up? Okay. Hey, actually, I just had a package pull up. I gotta go grab that before it disappears off my porch. I'm gonna go into BRB mode. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry, so my neighborhood has this problem with porch pirates, okay? I think it's actually several groups. There's people that follow the trucks around, the delivery trucks, and steal from them as soon as they drop stuff off. There's kids that roam around on their bike and steal stuff. You'll see the packages ripped open at the end of the street, and then they just leave stuff there. it's frustrating. And then Amazon doesn't believe you when your stuff gets stolen. They'd rather not take any responsibility. And like, it's just, anyway, I have cameras, so I keep an eye on it. And as soon as someone pulls up and delivers a package, I just run down and go grab it so I could throw it in the garage. But my garage door wasn't opening, so I had to like walk around my entire house to get it put back into the garage. So now I know I need batteries for my garage door opener. Anyway. Sorry about that. We're stepping away for a moment. I hope y'all survived while I was gone. I'm no Mark Rober, Rev. So, I don't know. I just don't have time for that kind of stuff. Though maybe I could put all my dogs, stuff in a box and leave it out there. This is a well done map. Like, the creator did a great job on this. Fantastic. What are you looking for? Anyway, what did I miss while I was gone? What'd you guys do? Did you all start a revolution? Ugh. Dark water. Still water. Ugh. Create a map with the steamboat. Honestly, when I think about maps with a steamboat, definitely steamboats are like synonymous with a couple locations, right? You have kind of like the southeastern kind of bayou type areas and the rivers, the river boats, right? There's also a bunch of steamboats on the rivers in like Europe, if I'm not mistaken, still to this day even. Like they have little miniature ones, right? That are like a little bit smaller than our kind of grandiose steamboats. Am I sitting down? Oh my gosh, you finished another map? Fantastic. Oh no, Milo. Everyone's kind of like talking like they're in a completely different stream right now. I'm so confused. I feel like I'm having a stroke. You all do your maps while you watch me? Oh. I discovered you didn't exist. It's cool. But wait, if I don't exist, then who am I talking to? Don't like this. This is too much to think about. Okay, let me open up. Yeah, microwaves are actually starting to get a lot better about metal stuff. And also in the last like 5-10 years, I don't know if y'all have noticed, a lot of microwave food kind of has like a reflective surface or a semi-metal surface to help cook it quicker, like a top with metal infused in it. Because they've learned, first off, they've made microwaves more resilient to them, but they've also found ways to use it to help augment the cooking. So Y'all have seen my massive cemetery that I've been working on for like one day a week for months, right? Hey, Artful Darkness, thank you. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. How you doing today? Good, I hope. Thing's been quite a project, but it's actually getting near completion. I'm kind of sad that it's almost over. I do need to do a little bit more work on it because like there's some things here like this fence area I want to finish off. Probably put a little bit more moss on this. Might even fence this whole area. Anyway, but this is going to be pauper graves over here. And then this area here will be kind of terraced, like private little plots for families. Got little mausoleums and whatnot. But I started making these roads last stream and then fencing them off, kind of cordoning off areas to make into different areas for graves. When the cemetery is complete, I've already got plans for my next map, and it's going to be an accompanying map to this that is the underground for it. Sadly, I wish I could have made it all as one map with multi-level, but the next map will be like a big kind of catacomb sewer that is tied to this. Throughout the build, we've managed to add several access points to an underground. There's a hatch hidden under this, in this mausoleum. There is a staircase behind the confessional booth. Over here, Mosey. And then there is one more entrance hidden on the caretaker's property. The museum still exists. The problem was when I was uploading it, it was giving me all sorts of issues. I'm thinking of remastering the museum when multi-level comes out so I can shrink down the size and make it higher, like with levels. You know what I mean? And I think that might make it more practical. But as you can see here, there's like a hatch. And that is the... like, he hides it under a pile of manure. And it's kind of a secret access point underneath all of the burials here. But underneath this is the ancient burials, which is catacombs. Catacombs were where they used to bury everyone. So a tunnel system just filled with bones and skulls stacked upon each other. And then eventually this area was after in my headcanon was after like a major war. They like cleaned up this area and built the cathedral on it to kind of signify like a new era of peace. Most of the deaths since then have all been like natural causes spanning hundreds of years, with the exception of a few like crusaders, you know, people like clerics and paladins and whatnot, martyrs. But here you have kind of like more medium, kind of like middle of the road graves. Here you have like, this is a fenced off, maybe like royal or like a really well-to-do family. I'm thinking the royal graves though. And then do it, Highland Lass. Over here are all of the graves for like the various clergy and people who were, you know, devout to the church over the years for this cathedral. So like I said, clerics, paladins, you know, priests, priestess, stuff like that. The map is coming along. We'll be working on it Monday, by the way, if anyone wants to tune in and hang out while I work on it. I'm taking suggestions from the community while I'm building it. Most of Monday will be spent, you know, cordoning off the fencing for this new area. And then I'm going to start filling it with pauper graves, just very generic, kind of run-of-the-mill graves, mounds, cairns, simple, you know, simple things. Wood crosses, stuff like that. How you doing, Callie? By the way, welcome back. It's 85 by 82. I had to expand it to get this road to center off all the way down to a corner. So when I was expanding it down, this road ended up here, right? And it was like, that was the edge right here. You could see where I generated it along this line. But basically I did that so I could line up this pathway here, which I might actually widen up to be as wide as the road back there. I'm not sure yet. I was planning it to be a little bit thinner, like about a third or half as thick, so it's more like a footpath. Artful Darkness, thank you for all those likes. Much appreciated. All right, let's get on to the, let's look at some more community maps. Oh, let's see, let's sort by most recent, see if anything pops. Oh, is this one you were talking about? Rev, your cathedral? And here we got the Temple of Balanus and Orun. Let's check these out, both of them, one after another. Man, I am not excited for the summer because my energy bill is going to spike. Because AC is like so required to even survive in Vegas. And in my office, during stream, I've got 2 computers. And I've got, 3 monitors and a bunch of lights. It gets hot. Gets hot. Whack, whack. Hey, Duck, how you doing? Welcome back. Quack, 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 quack. Go Duck. I mean, it's already starting to be really hot, and I'm sad because I like wearing my Dungeon Alchemist hoodie, but I won't be able to wear it much longer. It's gonna be too hot. Wow. Very cool. Let's check out the top down. Ooh. I do have a Dungeon Alchemist t-shirt. It's just dirty today. But I like wearing my hoodie until the last moment because I enjoy wearing it during the winter and, kind of fall and early spring. As it gets to become late spring, it gets too hot here. I'll still probably wear it in the early morning when I go on my walks. And angling all these by... Oh, you probably got one right and just copy them all, huh? But still, putting them in by hand was probably a pain because they wouldn't snap as good as these ones would. That's pretty cool. You're actually really considerate. Most churches would just have them all straight and expect you to crane your neck way to the side the whole time. Nice, Duck. And you know what? Really happy you use this because not enough people use the pulpit. Like, not enough, actually. It's kind of an underrated asset in our library. And I see you made a custom confessional. Did you not like the other confessional booth? Did it not really fit the space right? Oh, you didn't? Confession booth. Wait, that's not the same one, is it? Oh, this one's custom, right? That's like a room and you just added doors on it. It's the same size. Got all these opening doors and stuff. Curtains and whatnot. And it's even got the secret passage things behind it if you want it. Well, that's why you're tuning in, Duck, so you can learn. You made it almost perfect by hand. Not bad, huh? But it's the same size. You should throw in the object just so it has more interactivity. You can do whatever you want, though, at the end of the day, my friend. Like, you did a really good job, though, for making it by scratch. The little windows there. This is brilliant. Oh, the library. Definitely. Oh, no, this is someone's office. That ain't all. That's like a personal library. Of course, we got a little garden. Are you planning on having a floor 2 for this? Also like how you just made the entire exterior a room, which probably saved you a ton of time. That grass looks so much more like clean and consistent. The way the grass around this reminds me of like a Zelda Link's Awakening map, where you get to the castle and you have to like get in, but there's guards guarding here and you go around. There's like a secret passage over on this side somewhere and you go underground. Basically reminds me of that map almost exactly. Anyone else know what I'm talking about? Is that my only my childhood memory? Okay. Dude, this is epic. How long have you put into this so far? Yeah, I like the writing room. Like, this is, like, core, like, monking right here. Right? Like, just be a bunch of monks in here writing pages. Nice use of the buttresses. Yes, the buttress. It's really nice. The symmetry is also very cool. This is the library. The other library that has more books than the entire library for the rest of the people is just the personal office, I'm assuming, of like the head priest or whatever, the Pope. Interesting art choice as well. Yeah, it would be in a big city for sure. This is, I'm assuming, record keeping, bookkeeper, accountant, right? You did a great job, my friend. It's a really beautiful map. Good job. Fantastic work. Win part 2. Up the ante already. I'm just kidding. This is good too. Very interesting. All right. Let us move on to another map. We've only got a few minutes left too, so I want to make sure I check out Highland Lass's map as well. Oh, excuse me. Well, when it's uploaded, let me know. Oh, man. My neck is kind of tense. After stream, I'm going to just lay down and stretch for a little bit. Gotta help my kid get his audio all configured on his computer. Oh my gosh. I've told y'all a little bit about my son's, like, he has, like, really bad carpal tunnel and he can't, like, he doesn't have full use of his hands at the moment. So we got him, like, an adaptive controller and started setting it up because he missed gaming and playing Baldur's Gate primarily. And I basically went through and like got him like the adaptive controller and a bunch of like button attachments for it and 2 dome joysticks where he doesn't have to like hold his thumbs in specific positions. He can just kind of move them lightly like his hand. It's awesome. It's designed to be like very, very accessible. And I was just so happy seeing him smile and so excited because he was like able to play for the first time in ages. This is wonderful. The lighting particularly is fantastic. And I really love that you snuck these windows in here. Those are objects in there, right, Highland Lass? They have to be. The stained glass. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's an object in there. Sidewalk with a road. Pathways into this lovely little chapel. Temple, actually, I should say. Yeah, I see that. They are a part of the feature now. It's a beautiful map. I especially love that everything's just off the grid, you know, like particularly the building. This part right here looks like it was a bit of a struggle bus. I like this staircase you got here. Where's the burial mound at? Is this here? Burial mounds are actually quite prevalent in the US, despite many years and efforts to kind of hide them from public view or make sure no one really knows about them. There's tons of mounds in the US, like tons. Some of the biggest ones ever recorded in human history were on US soil. But they've also been covered over by development over time, instead of being protected as heritage sites. I think there was one in like St. Louis area that was massive, and it's just like completely gone. That's cool though. I'm glad I was able to spot it right away. Oh, really? That's crazy. What did they write? Stuff like Volgar was here. It's a wonderful map. The stained glass windows are a very nice touch. Ingeborg was the fairest of them all. Ingebjorg. It's lovely. Ooh. Like, I know you had it at dusk, but, like, darn, that was cool. Setting it at night. Awesome. Ooh. Y'all, I am so stoked for my session tomorrow because I pre-rolled my portents and I got 2 20s. Like, I'm not even joking you. I'll never get this lucky again the rest of this game. 2 20s. I'm going to capitalize on this. I'm thinking like a mega crit on the boss guy we're fighting. Like, allow one of my teammates to just absolutely ace him, like either the paladin or the cleric. And then I'm also thinking a just huge, like in like investigation check out in a looting area. Like just saving it for that, or maybe if we need it to, get past some guards using charisma or any number of things. But I've got 2 crits in my back pocket right now, which is insane. I know. I am so excited to like play and see what happens. It's going to be, let's just say, interesting. And like I said earlier, we're considering capturing the guy instead of killing him. And that way we can take him back to our base and like interrogate him and learn more information, use the zone of truth or whatever. But I don't know how well that'll go over dragging a giant through a giant city full of other giants that we just captured. It could be very bad. Like, it could go very well, like, awful, Maybe people hate the guy, though. Who knows? Alternatively, though, we have an alternate option because we might be coming in by ship because that's how we got to, like, get to the docks. We made a fake, like, trade order, and we have an invoice to deliver a bunch of wine that our benefactor sourced for us for the delivery. Because we just lied and said we had the wine to talk to an accountant to steal his ledger, his logbook, his ledger book from him. Anyway, it was like a whole bunch of stuff leading up to this. Basically, we snuck into an underground casino last time to talk to the accountant that runs the books for this entire operation, but he's centered at this casino. And we had to lure him out of his office, discuss business with him, and then steal his ledger from him under his nose and then escape. That was part 1 of the quest, and now we know like who we have to go over after next, which is this next guy. So it's like basically we still have the order because we like acted legit and walked out of there like we weren't even part of what happened. They didn't know the ledger was gone when we left. So yeah, anyway, we walked out of there. We're going to do some business with them, bring a bunch of giant-sized crates of wine, and hopefully some shenanigans will ensue. Anyway, I'm very excited to tell you the tales on Monday. If any of you are playing this weekend, I'm excited to hear about your gameplay as well come this upcoming Monday when I'm back on stream. Atlam, if you're around, could you drop some of the time stuff and links for Discord and whatnot? Thank you. So if you see in chat here, we have some times for our upcoming streams. Mapmaker Monday starts at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UTC, 6 p.m. CET. That stream runs 2 hours, and I'll be focusing on that cemetery that I showed you earlier, working on it throughout the stream. During that stream, you can get live support from me. Anytime you have questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions, drop into any of the streams. Let me know, and I will drop everything to provide you real-time AMA support. So, if you need any assistance, feel free to tune in on Mapmaker Monday while I focus on building a real map in real time for you to watch and learn and contribute to. Okay. Looking at the time here, we have about 2 minutes left. So if you have any last minute questions, concerns, feedback, need any immediate support, please do it now. Otherwise, you may want to jump into our Discord. When we're offline off stream, the two best places to get guidance is on our Discord or our wiki. Our wiki has a bunch of documentation and information, but our Discord has community members in it and staff members in it almost 24 hours a day, including a very supportive mod team who are all volunteers. But we have 2 channels dedicated to support questions and the support forum where you can drop questions and inquiries about your experiences with Dungeon Alchemist, and we will guide you through and try to provide you with assistance. Additionally, there's areas to hang out with other like-minded GMs, bounce ideas off them for encounters, stat blocks, homebrew. There's areas to share your maps and other art, etc. So please drop into our Discord if you're not already a member. Great place to be because we always share upcoming information, teasers, video clips, and pictures of the upcoming release constantly are being dropped there. Great place to be. Thank you so much for participating today in today's stream. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you again. Sorry I had to step away for a couple minutes earlier during the break where I grabbed that package off the porch. Appreciate you all being here so very, very much, supporting these community initiatives. Whatever platform you're watching from today, thank you so much. Whether it was Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Steam, wherever you're at today, thank you so much for supporting the stream. Remember, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit that share. And if you're not already following, make sure you hit, or if you enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit the share and the like button. And if you are enjoying the stream and you're not already following, make sure you hit that follow or subscribe button on your platform of choice. That way you don't miss out on future streams. We do multi-streams on Mondays and Saturdays every week. So it's a great time to tune in, watch Dungeon Alchemist maps made in real time, check out some of the coolest maps and 3D models shared on the workshop, and get tips and tricks and essentially a course from someone who has over 3,000 hours of Dungeon Alchemist map making. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist related ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream, okay? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much for attending. See you next time I give a damn. Switch over to the ads.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the fabled realm of
Goyak-Ta, please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
All right, thank you so much for watching. Hey, thank you for the well wishes, the luck. I appreciate that, Jim. Though I don't need it with my build. Between the luck die and my double crits I've got stacked for tomorrow, things are going to go my way. I just know it. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you all so very, very much. See you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.